All right, will it run? Let's find out right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Rusty Oliver Man, and this here is a 1250A, which I just got, as you may have seen in previous video, and it's a cute little horse. They only made them for 1 year that said -A, because this was a totally new revision of the 1250. It is much more similar to the later tractors that followed, like all the 1365s and 1265s. More refined engine. The back end is actually pretty well the same as the 1250 regular that came before it, but basically from there forward it's different. So I found this on Facebook Marketplace and called the guy, and the story was that he had got it from a guy and it supposedly needs a clutch, but then now when he's tried to start it after it's sat at his place for a while, now it doesn't want to turn fast enough to start, and that could mean lots of things. But what I'm thinking is, you never know till you try, so we're going to put the jump pack on and see if we can make it sing some type of a song here. Wouldn't it be cool to drive it off the trailer under its own power? Well, it doesn't have a clutch supposedly, but we don't know that that's true. But definitely we can do some you know, checking on it and seeing what needs to be done. Somebody has taken a lot of the sheet metal loose for whatever reason, which is amazing that I didn't lose it going home, because I threw that strap over it just because I thought, hey, that's a good idea, but I didn't realize nothing was holding it, so the strap was definitely a good idea. But yeah, and it's all stuff that I just bought at that auction a few days ago. And I mean, actually that was yesterday for me, so using the stuff the very next day to haul it home, and that's cool. This flat tire is breaking my brain, so since the air hose is right here next to me, I think we're going to unchain this front, and then we're going to try to put some air in that tire. Yes, this is one of the new chains that I bought. Going to use the very next day. That is my boomer, though. That is a boomer. Don't ever forget it. What are the chances that this still has air in it from yesterday? About 0. Let's turn on the compressor. We'll air that up. I'm gonna get my temporary grill pulled off of there again. In the last video we just experimented with some stuff, but it's actually in our way, so we need to take it off. And yeah, we will dive in and see what happens. It actually has decent-ish battery cables, they look like, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. They might still be garbage, even though they look kind of pretty. I think I'm just going to leave it hang and clip right to the starter and make her go, or try to make her go. We should probably get some fard pounders too, because we might need that. I think I checked the oil last time. It's got oil in it. Coolant? No? That ain't gonna move. It was dry when I stuck my finger down in the top, but that would be, it doesn't have to have water in it to just fire it up for a second. We can shut it off and then assess. I don't know that it's going to actually run, but it sure would be neat to see it do that thing. But let's not get all ADD right away. I want to put air in this tire, because needs to be done. It's probably going to take it a while to air. Well, it is kind of going, but and we need to try to get us some tie rods off that parts tractor too. So, but I'm just wanting to hear it crank over, and if possible, hear it go vroom vroom. We'll let the air compressor catch up. I'm gonna go grab some fard pounders in case we need it. All right. Woo! Okay. Have you had enough time now to catch up to the chat? Maybe. Uh-oh. Oh, it's leaking. It gets up to a certain amount and it starts leaking. Well, that's a good reason for a tube then. Well, we'll just walk away and let that do its thing. It's probably going to go flat again, but thus is life. All right, over here we have the starter. What we are going to do first, though, we are going to hook up the jump pack directly to said starter. We are going to turn on the key, and we are going to see if we have anything happen. We have no lights of any kind. Yeah, she turns pretty slow. Okay. So, not to be deterred. I'm not sure how to speak English. I'm gonna swap that starter because that starter sounds sick. Sounds like something ain't playing nice. I also wonder, well, I'm learning so many things here as I look at this tractor. Let me go grab some stuff and then I'll tell you what I'm seeing and thinking. But I'm gonna need tools at any rate, and I'm gonna shut off that air compressor and we're gonna give this a quick perusal. All right, what I'm noticing here, and it's entirely possible that this is 100% correct because this tractor came first, but this hydraulic pump is not like the hydraulic pumps that would be on the 1365 and that, because they are also square like this. So it's possible someone adapter plated it, or it's possible that the 1250A had this because the 1250 had a pump like this to run the power steering. So I'm not saying that that's wrong. That could be right, and that is just a 1250A quirk. So the next struggle we're going to have, I'm hoping I don't have to take it out of the way to get the starter out, because see how we have no clearance here? Clarence? It's pretty darn close. Here's the new one that we bought just a few short months ago. It's slightly shorter, so it might go in there easier. But I'm hoping that at the worst, I just have to take this line off. I hope I don't have to take the whole pump off to make that happen. But anything is possible. Also, this fuel situation here is horrendous. Somebody has really... I'm looking at this. This is your fuel shut off. Right? Yeah. So, I'm also puzzled why they would lose this rod. Like, that just is not a piece that you would lose. That's kind of confusing, but all right. We ain't getting nowhere just standing here discussing it. But, like I said, this is going to be probably a struggle of sadness because it looks like we haven't got any room at all. Let's start by taking the wires loose. That one's easy. Yeah, the rest of them won't be, but that one is. I need to put you there, even though that may be not the best angle. You're in the shade, kind of, more than you would be if I put you on the axle, which would then, in turn, the sun will shut you off for being too hot. And that's how life goes. That's how life goes. I'm hoping that this starter is a total piece of garbage. That would be the best case scenario, because that means then the rest of it should be okay. This is also a strange affair, whoever did that. He made the battery cable right. He crimped it into the same wires as the thing. I don't like that, because that causes us interference problems when we want to work. But beggars can be losers, you know. 17 millimeter. That's a fun size that lots of metric things like to use. And what I'm wondering is that going to be too much? We might as well start with the hardest to get to one. And then everything else, in theory, should be a breeze from there, right? It actually, there is a hole. There is a hole in the bottom of the sea. There's a hole. There's a hole. I hope that pieces don't fall out of the flywheel or something. That wouldn't be nice, would it? Can I get my fat hand back in there to turn it loose? I hope there's no snakes. The guy I got it from has like a junkyard out there at his place, and you'd never know it because it's all in the woods on the side of a hill. And he said he went to go looking for some parts in a semi-trailer he had, and he reached in the bin to pull something out and came out with a black snake. So I don't know. I'm hoping that we don't find a snake. That's not something that seems like that I would enjoy very much. Oh, sometimes the trick is just figuring out how to get there. It's not figuring out how to take it apart as much as it is figuring out which combination of tools to get in there to do the thing. That's actually loose. Okay. Probably should go get a shorter extension. I gotta have some extension, but I don't need this much. That's what I got. But maybe I can cheat. It got me through school. Why wouldn't it work today? All right, that's that. Now, you see the math problem which my brain is not capable of dealing with? And see, now we've made it more difficult because we've introduced looseness as a variable in this bouquet of sadness. And instead of using the right tool, we're going to try to use the red pliers, because that's what I got here. And it's not going to work. There we go. Red pliers, red pliers. Always comes through for me. The red pliers does. Come on, let's not... I should have taken this fitting loose before I took the starter loose. Then it wouldn't hang down in my way. But see, I'm like a kid on Christmas morning. I can't wait. Can't wait to see it run. probably would have been handy if I would have brought some open-end wrenches with me too, which I did not do. I could go get them, but what would be the fun in that? Using inappropriate stuff and struggling keeps everybody happy in the comments. As a matter of fact, that's the fuel for me not doing things correctly. When I see how upset people get, I throw away a combination wrench and buy another crescent. Oh. That oil don't look too clean, does it? Got a little moisture in it. This is going to be one of those where it's just enough to tick you off. So I think what's going to have to happen here, I need to take that other fitting out, and then I'll have the clearance I need maybe, because it's going to be just enough that it's not going to go. Oh, come on. I really need to have it this way. Uh-oh. Well, we ruined that fitting, as I figured we would. Brass, don't like that. Son of a Knudsen. Now, and the sad thing is we won't have another thing like that, because that's not how the others are made. I'll tell you one thing, that starter is seriously aggravating me. There. Ouch. Come on. Oh, the little primer handles also broke off the pump here. Somebody got a little bit too excited. We might have to fire the parts cannon at this little feller before we can even get started. Oh. What are the chances a guy can find one of those in town? Probably not very good. That's more of a hose shop affair, I'm afraid. Come on. Come on. Oh, fun times. You're getting too hot. And Ross is getting upset because I can't believe he ruined a fitting. That sucks. I guess I'll run to the hose shop tomorrow. Maybe we can run it if it'll start. We can run it for just a second. It'll probably spray fuel all over the, or oil all over the place. I'm curious to know though if this one will just go in there. Oh yeah, I bet that one would go in. Yeah, you probably wouldn't even have to take the hose off. He says, as he can't get the starter to go in. No, I think it'll go. Better, that's what this is for. This is actually for a 1255. That's what I ordered it for, thinking I could make it work on that 1250, but it is not anywhere close. It's the right number of teeth, but the gear's not the right diameter. The bolt pattern's not right, so it wasn't going to play ball. Come on. Let's get that back in there. I'm fearful that our work is for naught looking at that fuel transfer pump. I'm afraid that somebody else, through their aggression, has tried. I mean, they broke the primer handle off, and I'm just wondering if that pump was maybe stuck or it's not doing the thing, and maybe that's the real reason that they couldn't get it started, that it wasn't getting fuel. It was turning too slow, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Just gotta... When you got too hot and quit, I don't think you saw the part where I scraped it clean back there behind the starter. So if you see all the dirt and stuff all over, that's what happened. I thought it would be a good opportunity to get some of the leaves and sticks out of it. I should have brought my end ratchet for this, because this would have been a good opportunity for it to turn the handle to get that tightened. But well, there's one. There's two. Yeah, you're getting too hot. That's going to cause us a problem. I'm going to see if this will go. Will it go between there? I think I'm going to go with that. Of course, this is obnoxiously the wrong size. But basically what I'm going to do is try to put this back to a more manageable thing here. That ain't going to work. We're going to have to cut some off, aren't we? Well, yeah. Okay, well, let me get... I haven't given up. I've had to do some things before. I never know. I think it needs to go this way for an effective crimp. I don't know. That ought to work. He says as it doesn't work. No. I can't leave this battery cable set up this way though. That's what got me on this journey. Basically this is about to happen. We're going to put our own terminals on. We can't have that kind of stuff going down. Yeah. So that's good. Let's do that to this one. Oh, yeah. Okay, now we get the privilege of taking that loose again that we just put on there, because we didn't think that we were going to do this, but then we decided we couldn't take it anymore. We can't take a nonsense connection. So now we can put these on here, like here, on here. Put this in there. All right, that seems good. That'll let us get these tucked out of the way later, wherever they need to be. Now, I need to pay mindful attention to what we're doing, so as not to do something dumb. But we're going to put this on and we're going to see if it turns faster now. And if it doesn't turn faster, then we might have a problem, friends. Part of our problem is I have not had this jump pack charged for a long time, and it's down to 11.9 volts. So that's probably gonna Uh-oh, now I got nothing. Well. Oh. That's a brand new starter, friends. Well, we got more trouble right here in River City, friends. For one, that's going to immediately leak. We're going to have to do something about that. For number two, she seems awfully draggy, and that shouldn't be. Granted, my jump pack is low, so that is a potential culprit of that. But I don't like how it sounds. It just sounds like there's something not right. And that ain't good. So, where do we go from here? Well, we're gonna have to get that fitting tomorrow. Put that back together. Then I suppose we need to service the fuel system to make sure that it's as good as it can be. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure what... I mean, we don't have a battery in it either, so... I hear that clicking, too. I'm not sure what the clicking is. But there is a clicking, and I don't like that. But that could also be because it's just turning slowly. Another day in the life of a Fiat, you know? Well, you're getting too hot and running out of battery. And since I can't do any more tonight because of not having that fitting that I destroyed, sadly, I'm going to move along and work on some other stuff. The good news is I did try it a second ago off camera, and it seems to spin faster after I gave the jump pack some time to recover. So I'm thinking that I need to charge my jump pack, and then probably we'll put better cables on it, or I'll just go ahead and have new cables made, put on it, and then put an actual battery in it to help us. And then maybe we can go on our merry way and see if we can get her to spin around. But we'll see. I mean, I like how there's just random wires hanging in places. That is actually for the horn, I bet you. That would make sense. Are all these loose? Did somebody have this off? Kind of makes me nervous, doesn't it? Almost makes me wonder. See, the horn would have bolted up here, but it makes me wonder if I had to pull this off and just have a gander at it. You know, that there's not something terribly loose in there that's causing us an issue, that somebody sold it to the last guy and didn't tell him that, oh yeah, by the way, I forgot to tell you the valve train came apart. And, you know, you never know. I thought maybe I could hear it run though, and then, I don't know. So, horn, we will have to get one of those when we get to that point. And then also, another big thing I'm missing, I need to get the little box that mounts here that runs the... Actually, what it does, its purpose is to run the light on the dash that shows it, the charging light. It has another relay for some reason, and that's what all this is. Two of these wires go to this voltage regulator, but the others run the light. So I'm gonna have to find one of those, and I think the last time I tried that, they were non-obtainium anymore. But I happened to have an extra one, and I used it on the 1365 when it quit one time. So, I don't know. I also thought I bought a new tap, but I guess not. So we're gonna use the old one that's half wore out and probably struggle. In other words, what I'm doing here is cleaning these holes so I can bolt the sheet metal back on, because it's annoying to have the sheet metal hanging in my way with not being tightened, and there's really nothing to gain here by having it loose. I think if it's on here, I can still do what I need to do. I'm just wondering, all of this is adding up to make me more and more curious about the valve cover situation. Should I check and make sure that somebody didn't start taking the valve train apart? Again, not knowing what they're doing, thus making it harder for the next guy, aka me. Or actually, 2 guys from now, because I don't believe the guy I bought it from. I just don't think that he really messed with it. I don't know, I might be wrong, but I don't think so. He seemed like a good guy. We talked for a while, and I think he was on the up and up. All right, it's the next day, and I have supplies, I hope. So, this fitting, there is a hose shop, not the hose shop that usually makes my hoses, but an actual industrial supply place that sells stuff. And here lately, I've complained about that before, they don't have anything. Their new motto should be, we can do it in 2, because they can't do it in a single fitting, they have to have 2. And this is no exception. And I think what is happening, I hope this is actually the right size, because you never know. But what I think goes down, they probably actually do have the stuff. It's just that the employees are too stupid to know where it is. And that's harsh to say, but unfortunately, that is working out to be the case. So for today, to get us by, we're going to do this. And then, to make it look nice later, we'll have to order off the internet the correct thing, because they apparently can't handle that. I really hate it that I broke this. I mean, but I can't help it either. That's just, I get too excited. I wanted to hear it run, and I should have just got a socket instead of trying the red pliers, because I should have known that the red pliers wouldn't do that right. But can't put that genie back in the bottle. I'm trying to get you a view where you could actually watch a little bit, but the sad fact is everything on this tractor is aluminum. So there's no, I'm not convinced that they really gave me the right fitting here. I'm hoping I can peer pressure it into working for today. I mean, that is so stupid that they can't handle that. Because what I got here is not out of the realm of unusual. I mean, this is basically American sizes here. Am I going to have enough room to do that? Just barely. Now see, this won't start in there just because. Fun things. Now it's, I had it started out here when I held it in my hand. Why won't it start when it's on the tractor? Ain't that ridiculous? I mean, seriously. There is no reason. There. Did this happen to be the size? It is. Here's hoping. Here's hoping that'll thread down in there and tighten up. Yeah, see, that's what I was afraid of. It's gonna start spinning down lower and cause us problems. So, I'm gonna try to grab another something to hold back. Let's see if this'll do it. I bet that's not really the right thread for this. But since it's brass, it might get us by. Now, should we need it, the parts tractor does have a pump with that feels like it's working with a good primer. But I don't know that we can try it like this first, but I have a feeling we're gonna be fuel filters and the whole deal. I bought all that stuff. I got it all. I got stuff to change the oil. I got fuel filters and whatever. But what I was working on last night off camera, and why I took the sheet metal off, was I was trying to get that oil pressure indicator to work. Thanks to my hoarding of parts that I bought this spring from the junkyard, I have this, which has the relay on it that we need. And it also has the wire, jumper wire from this fuse. You can take that off and put on there, and maybe it'll charge too. So we're gonna take that off of there and pop it on here real quick and see if that doesn't make our lights come on. And of course, I have to jump up and down, all kinds of acrobatics. But I don't know why somebody took this off of there, if they just thought that they didn't need it, or it wasn't working, so they took it off. And we'll probably do that from the other side. Let's go down here and take off the stuff we need off of our parts stack. It's even got a original voltage regulator. If it works, maybe we need to swap it in, because it's cool. It says Fiat on it. Now you see, that's not going to let me get in there with the combination of stuff I have, so now I have to hunt more tools. Awesome. I'm trying desperately to hear this run, and then that way you can get a video, because I got other more important stuff I need to be doing right now other than playing with this tractor. I'd like to just be playing with this tractor, but that's not how life goes. So I need to hurry up and either get it running or just pull it off the trailer, and we'll have to revisit it later. I know people don't like it when I do will it runs with no no running, but I can't help it. Life comes first, toys come second. Maybe someday we'll get to the point where we can just do whatever we want every day, but so far that's not quite here. All right, we also need this wire. Oh, that was a struggle. All right, yellow in front, the dual wire in back, blue in the center. Got it. All right, let's put this on first. The fuse is good, I already looked. I don't know why they had this unclipped. If they just went wire happy, or if this little voltage regulator was not working. It doesn't look like it was smoking. This is the updated style, so all right. Oh, that's what we were working on a minute ago. I forgot. That was starting to turn, and we got to do something about that. There. Well, I should have taken both out, but that's okay too. See, I just get so darn excited, I just can't think straight. And then I do start doing dumb stuff. This was supposed to have run not that long ago, so I still hold hopes that it really will run. I pulled the valve cover off last night. It looks beautiful under there, so I'm not too worried about that. Now, I thought that these, am I thinking wrong? I always thought that this and the other one overlapped. I don't remember. Whatever. All right. dual wire was in the back. The terminals broke off. We're gonna have to crimp on one to jump her over to here. We can do that, no problem. The yellow wire was in front. The blue wire goes in the middle. Let me go grab one to do this. Oh, I should have probably gave myself more room, and I should be on the other side again, but that's just not how life worked out today. Let's take this out where I can work. This is what I have at my disposal. So this is what I'm going to use. Come on. Well, we're gonna struggle, friends. This doesn't hand me for some reason to work on this side. I guess I'll go around to the other side again. You would think I could do this, but there. That's hooked up. Now, with any luck, when we turn the key on, we should have two lights that light up and tell us sadness abounds. And we need the sadness lights, because you just never know. So, if that relay works, I guess is the moral of the story. The relay might not work. How about that? This one still has the top of the battery hold downer. All the Fiats I've ever had, none of them had that. That's going to prove to be super annoying, probably, because it'll probably be in our way. This morning, I actually bought a battery. Why? I don't know, friends. Because it's only money and you can't take it with you? I don't know. But because I like to struggle, that's why. No. My reasoning is, boy, that's really safe, isn't it? That close to the thing. These Fiats need juice. They don't do well with no juice. If that makes sense. Not really. We could fight and fight and fight trying to get her to go, and the jump pack alone won't be enough. But if we do this number here, boy, I hope that, I think I'm gonna do that. You see, I'm gonna put this through here so that it doesn't accidentally arc between the two. That would suck, to start a fire for stupidity. There. Now, let us see if we have any lights. We have none. So we accomplished nothing. Well, there may be yet more problems that need sorted out. I tried. I think it's the number 2 fuse position that runs that light setup. Oh, did I unhook the, I don't know. It could be that the sender's bad. It could be that that's no good. I think I can get those again, so it could be that, I don't think it has to make ground the dash itself, because it's actually isolated and it sends hot to the, it's very odd setup, this little duck. Does it crank? Okay, we're not making good connection. So that could be part of it too. Let's see if it'll, okay, where is it not making connection? Probably our crappy battery cable ends. Oh, I would say that the positive cable is not helping us at all. Okay, that's promising. Let's put the jump pack on it too so we don't ruin our battery. And we're just gonna go for broke. We're gonna trust in the process, friends. We're gonna hope that it'll run, and we're gonna hope that nothing is bad. All right, here we go. Test run in 3, 2, 1. Let's let it rest a minute. We got smoke coming. It started to smoke out of the exhaust, so I have hopes that perhaps we are near our shut-off situation. We'll have to just run it manually. I did find the rod off of a 1365. It's a lot longer, so we'll have to cut it and then rethread it and then buy a knob and put that on. The throttle rod is not cool, but I've got one of those too that's not the greatest, but I think we could bend on it and make it work. All right, let's give her a go again, see what happens. All right, it is so close, friends. It's so close to running. All right, you're getting too hot, but we're gonna have take 2.5.4. I put a new battery cable end on it. So let's try her now. Come on. I don't get it, friends. I don't get it. Let's just take that off. Well, it acts like it wants to run, but it just won't quite go. And I'm not figuring that out. I mean, it's smoking. It ought to take off and run. I'm trying to think what else could be restricting it. I mean, if it's smoking, it's getting fuel. So, is it just that it's not getting it on all the cylinders yet? And it's taking it a minute? We might have to pull it, but we might not have a clutch, so I don't know. So close. Yeah, it ether locks very easily, so I need to just calm her down there and wait, I guess. I mean, it's so close. It's so close. But there could be a lot of problems that we don't know about. I mean, I don't know. I don't like the fuel filters. They don't look like they've been changed in a while. But at this point, if I open that up, then I'm going to lose all my progress, because getting the air out of one of these is a pain in the canootsin'. So that would be the next installment in my mind, would be working on the fuel system once we had it running. I've got a new pump ordered. I could change that in. But I was really hoping that it would take off and run just like it was. And I don't see why it wouldn't. It's very close. But these things can be notorious for not, like, if they get air in the system, they just don't want to run. And, you know, that's a common problem that people have told me. You know, they change fuel filters, they can't get them to run. And then, what do I want to say? Well, they always say, well, then we pulled them and we got them started. So I guess I should, for good measure, probably the next place I go, try to bleed the injectors and make sure they're really all doing the thing. But it just acts like it's gonna go. I mean, it's smoking out of the exhaust. It ought to run. There we go. It just had to think about it. Oh, so close. It actually sounded pretty good, but well, I don't know what I did to replicate or to get that to go. Okay, let's let it sit a little bit. Our starter's getting toasted. But you saw it, friends. It took off and ran. It did run. So, I think we're on the right track here. I don't know why it won't keep running, but that could very easily be a fuel supply problem. Our setup here is not very nice. I mean, that filter there, that's been on there a long time, and it kind of seems like the ones I've seen that are like that have the filter separated, that one never gets changed because it's hard to get to. We're starting to get some return fuel in our little reservoir here, so that's also good. That means it's working through the system. I mean, we're so close. Like, I don't understand why it won't just take off and go. I mean, and keep running. It was running good when it was running. I don't know, just an odd little fellow. Of course, when you know, got too hot and shut off, then look what happened. I hear some weird sounds from it, but I'm not sure if I should be concerned or not. You hear that ticking? It's irregular in nature. Now it went away. It seems to be running good. How low will it idle? No. I think our idle needs adjusted. I think it's come loose. That's what it is. I can hear the injection pump clicking when it's that low. We need to shut her down though, because it doesn't have enough water in it, and I don't want to melt it down. I do want to see though if it'll restart. Yep. What a sweetheart! She put up a little struggle at first, but they always do. Until they decide that they're on board with it, you know? I can see that it's puking out oil here, and I think that it's got a terrible rear main seal, and that has oil soaked the clutch. That's what I'm thinking its issue is, because when I had the starter out, you could clearly see in there that it was pretty soaked in there. But nonetheless, I think I want to try to drive it off the trailer triumphantly. So what I think I'm gonna do is, I have to clean off all my stuff because what a surprise. It's become a flat surface already, holding everything imaginable that we used. I need to just go back to my system where I used to use a bucket, and then I could just throw everything in the bucket again. Here's our rod that we're gonna maybe make into that at some point, but we'll have to set it to the side for now. Tools. Yeah, I'm pumped though, friends. I was nervous there for a little bit. It didn't act like it was wanting to play ball, but it came alive and it sounds good now. I mean, these little foreign diesels are a strange little animal, really. They can make all kinds of sounds, and you think that they're junk and whatever, and they just come right back to life. I mean, they're very well made in a lot of ways. They're rugged. I mean, I just don't know. I mean, we got a good thing going for us here, I hope. Boy, I got lots of stuff scattered on here already. I'm gonna take a minute and pick all this up. We're gonna see if it restarts. I'll have the ramps out, and we'll see if we can't put it off the trailer. We may not be able to stop because it may not have any clutching. I don't know. I don't know what we'll find, but we're never gonna figure it out if we don't try. So it did not appear like it was helping me much at all with power steering. So that is another potential struggle we will have. Also, we can't really drive it because we have no tie rods to speak of. We have a piece of metal bent into a I don't know, tie rod-ish shape, but not really. But I'm pumped, friends. It's not even 24 hours since this was home and I got it running, so that's pretty cool. But let me clean up and we'll try to get this off of there and, you know, see what's going down. It may not have any hydraulics either, or it's low on oil because it doesn't look like the arms, oh, the lever's down. So we'll see next time it's running if it's got, you know, lifting. Soli Vittori, we got to check the Soli Vittori stick because this one should have that. That's an interesting thing I can point out real quick without going into adding another hour to this video. But the regular 1250, the hydraulic system is all up in here. It pulls from there and it sucks from there, or puts back in there. The hydraulic unit on top, the bottom half is 80/90. On this one, they wised up. The whole back end is full of hydraulic oil and it sucks from the bottom. And it actually, in the 1365, the power steering is like an isolated system. It has its own reservoir and it goes to that pump only, and the steering cylinder. On these, they are pulling off of the same sump as the rear end, and what they've done is that this pipe here is teed and it feeds both pumps. So it's feeding both pumps, and then this one does your hydraulic unit out the back and this one runs your power steering. So I don't know, it's just interesting take on how they modified the other one without having to make a lot of new stuff. So at any rate, let me keep cleaning like I said I was going to do 20 minutes ago, and we'll try to get this off of here. All right, friends, let's see if it'll start up again, and let's see if it'll drive triumphantly off of the trailer under its own power. It's supposed to need a clutch, so who knows what's going to happen. Let's see. Will it start? Of course. It's a sweetheart. Okay, letting out clutch. Well, it pulled itself in first gear. Let's see what happens. Hard to drive with not any real tie rods. We're gonna fall off the ramp. Here we go. Yep. Okay, we want to go that way? That's fine. We can go that way. Now the steering's starting to help. Okay, clutch? I don't know, it seems to have a clutch. Maybe it's weak. It's probably, like I said, it's probably because it's leaking oil and it would slip. Yeah, see there, I feel like it's not pulling us up the hill. There you go. Yeah, we got oil soakage, I'd say. Can we get it out of the way? Will it pull it out of the way? Will she pull a hill in first gear? Barely. Yeah, it won't do high range at all. Okay, let's shut you down a minute so we can assess our situation. Let's get off of this without destroying ourselves or it. We need to fix that floorboard right away. That ain't gonna work. Friends, it pulled itself off the trailer. 24 hours ago, it was dead and it had no hope of survival, really. Unless somebody would eventually get to it. And now it runs and kind of drives. And I think that if we get time this winter, we can split her in half, put a rear main seal in it and a clutch. Boys, I think we're gonna maybe have us a 1250A. It seems like that's, you know, majorly, or the main thing that's wrong with it, because you can see how it's leaking oil out of the bell housing. It's oily in there. It's puking a lot out. But we can continue on making it more better even before we do that, you know. We can service it and we can, you know, we can tackle flipping that tire around. We can put on missing pieces, and then whenever we get a chance, we'll split it. We'll just buy a new clutch and put the whole works in new and go again. But I would say 99% chance what's going on is it's oil soaked, and so it's not pulling itself anymore. But we can fix that, you know, hopefully we don't find any major meltdown damage in there. But I don't think that there really would be to speak of, you know. It's just, it looks to me like, from what I've seen before, like our oil leakage, probably out of the rear main seal, is what's causing our issue. So I'm tickled to death, you know. I was kind of second guessing myself a little bit. Did I waste my money, you know, when I tried to turn it over and it made all those strange sounds and whatever? But I think we got us something here, and it's, like I said, they only made it 1 year, so that is cool. I think we'll leave this one here. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. After watching what you just saw, do you feel like your IQ has dropped lower than your credit score? Well, there's no reason that both of us should be miserable, so go ahead and hit that thumbs up and leave a comment. That stuff costs you nothing, and it really helps me out. Your banker may not approve, but I know mine will. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.